Welcome back to the garage on this fine day. So happy you're continuing to join us in our quest to forge steel. If you tuned into the last episode, you know that we finished our forge. It got that metal cherry red and it was ready to mold. We were just missing one little thing. Something to bang on. Now what is this, you may be asking me? Well, this is 68 kilograms or 150 pounds of pure badass ASO. What is an ASO, you ask? Well, let me tell you. ASO is an anvil-shaped object. Now, if you're following any other blacksmiths on YouTube out there, there's far more knowledgeable ones out there than me. Trent over at Purgatory Forge is one that I particularly like to watch, and he has a 4-part series on anvils. He will take you through the names of the different parts of the anvils, the construction of the anvils through the ages. He'll tell you about modern anvils and how to purchase an anvil. He'll also tell you about ASOs. And he will be the first one to tell you, I'm sure, as a beginner blacksmith, an ASO is what you want to get into. An anvil-shaped object is anything you can bang on. Hell, if you got a 50-pound dumbbell in your basement, get it out the garage if you're not using it, turn it on end, and start hammering your metal between that and the hammer. It'll work. This, I was lucky enough to get from a good friend, Dan Vicente. And you know what, how he came across it, who he traded it from, I don't know. I traded him a couple bar clamps because, you know, woodworking ain't my thing, and he's making some beautiful furniture out of barnwood. And he needed a couple bar clamps, and he had this sitting around, and he didn't need it, and he heard I was interested in blacksmithing. That was about 8-10 years ago. Time sure flies, huh, Dan? So he traded me for it, and here we are. Now, fast forward, I'm finally putting it to some good use. So what we're going to do with this, and I'll take you over and I'll scope you in on this, and we'll get the where-ins and wows. But essentially, we could just lay this flat, and you could just start banging it. I could just start banging it. I could weld some legs directly to this. You could set it on a table, a log, some built-up lumber. You could do any of those things and just start hammering. What I'm actually going to do is this is going to be my top. I'm going to turn this up on edge, and I'm going to weld up a frame that slides down over top of this and secures it nice and securely. Nice and securely. Anyway, we're going to do that, and I'm going to build what is called a die anvil. The other, I don't know which is I believe that's the real name. The slang or not so common name would be the Brian Brazil anvil. Now this is something that he's used. I believe Alex Steele has a few videos with one in some of his videos, some of his older videos. It's just a 2-inch wide chunk of steel. This is 2 1/4. However long you want it. You're going to have a flat edge on top. Part of that flat edge is going to be a sharp shoulder. Then you're just going to have just take the shoulder off, a little bit rounded. That's going to be your main area. Then you're going to have a rounded area. And then you're going to get to a sharply rounded area. And that's going to give you the main shapes to bang off of that are part of an anvil. If you broke an anvil down, that's what you have. You have a sharp edge, you have a slightly rounded edge, and you have a horn that goes from a wide bevel all the way down to a sharp bevel. And that'll build just about anything you want to build. I am also going to take this a little step further like I always do. And I'm going to weld some 1-inch plate on both sides, and it's going to come past one edge. That's going to give me a slightly wider face. It'll give me a 4 1/4. You don't need 4 1/4, but the only reason I'm using that 1 inch is because I want it beefy back here. And then I'm going to use some other square bar and stuff, and I'm going to build up a square 1-inch hardy hole off the back of this. Now, if you recall from the pictures I supplied with from the tools making tools that I took down with Ethan Hardy down in southern Alberta, we made some bottom tools. Now a bottom tool, this is a fuller. A bottom tool has a 1-inch, well, it doesn't always have a 1-inch square shank, but that's the typical size. It'll have a square shank, and that will go what's in that common square hole that you see in anvils. Now that keeps it from twisting. The ones Ethan makes have a little bit of a taper, so when you pound it down, it locks in. And what that allows you to do is that allows you to have a bottom shape to work off of. You can have shapes, you can have cutters, you can weld up stuff and have jigs that fit in that hole. It's a very it's a very good hole to have on your anvil. It'll help you out with all sorts of different things. So let's get over to the table, and I will start drawing up on here what I'm going to do, and then we'll throw into high gear, and you can fast forward right through this and go right to the finished product if you want, or you can watch the time lapse. I got goosebumps. Would you look at this? We got our 4-inch flat face. We got a sharp edge. We got our nice soft edge. We got a nice round fork. We got a sharp fuller. We have a hardy hole for our hardy tools. I even threw on a little bit of a tool holder so I can display all my beautiful top tools and bottom tools that I made at Ethan Hardy's class down near Camrose or down near Daysland, Alberta. So what I got for you here, this is the end of the video. We built our anvil. We had our forge in the last couple videos. We had our burners in the first video. My Brian Brazil horse that me and Ethan made, I'm going to pull her out. I'm going to draw out an end on her. I'm going to put a little loop in her so I can hang her up somewhere. And I'm going to stamp 2018 and my initials in there. And that I will forever keep as my first ornamental piece. So without further ado, Well, there she is, all oiled up and pretty as can be. My first ornamental piece. I started it down in Daysland, Alberta under the tutelage of Ethan Hardy at the end of my Tools to Make Tools course I took with him. I finished her up here in Edmonton, Alberta after starting with nothing in my garage in the city. We built some burners, we built a forge, we built an anvil. I hope you've been following along. If not, hit that like and subscribe button. Come along on the journey. I'm going to be teaching myself all sorts of neat things, and we're just going to see how far down the rabbit hole we can go. Anyway, remember, keep your forge hot and your drinks cold. Well, there she is. We can only improve from here.